morning, everybody. Joshua Laycock here, day 94, something like that. Holy Hannah, we're getting up there. I've been distracted this week. I don't know why. I think it might be a byproduct of just having a little bit too much on my plate, something I've talked about in the past, and I'm working through how I want to handle that. But ironically, I mean, it's in a good thing. It's in a good way. I mean, I've just got so many things that I'm enjoying right now that I'm having a hard time deciding where I want to spend my energy. I've got some good stimulating work that I've been doing at my day job, my job. I've been taking some coaching courses, which I'm really, really enjoying. Some fantastic content that I stumbled upon. The work in the men's group that I'm doing is becoming a lot of fun, and it's always the beginning of the month is always a little bit more work. So that's what's happening right now as we come into March. And to top it all off, I got hooked on a new TV show that I like, and I'm enjoying a book, a fiction book that I've rediscovered, a series that I'm kind of sucked in on. So it's a nice problem to have, I guess. It's not like I'm being burdened with a lot of things that I'm not enjoying, but I am finding myself distracted, that I'm not spending as much singular energy on any one thing. And if you're anything like me, and I think most people are, there's been a lot of research that has borne out that very few people actually have the capacity to multitask effectively. Different than task stacking, right? Like driving to work and making a video or listening to a podcast while I walk the dog. Those are task stacking things. But multitasking, I don't know. I find a divided attention really, really cuts down on my productivity. And in terms of how I spend my productive time, my alpha priority goes to my job. They're the ones who pay me. That's what I do. And although I don't do non-work stuff at work, I find it not respectful to my employer. Even psychologically, I find myself a little distracted thinking about these things. And one thing that I've done in the past when I feel overwhelmed, particularly if I'm dealing with a bunch of tasks that are difficult or less fun, is to step away sometimes, right? Is to step away from what we're working on, take a breather, maybe take a day, blow off some steam or a really good workout or something. Sometimes you have to step away. But I also have found the value of deep, intense focus can be a really good reset, and it does help you get caught up, and it allows you to restructure your mind and to remind it that while, let's say, at work, you are to focus on work, and during this set time you're to focus on this task alone, because I do like to block my time. And I've always been a proponent of deep work. I've always tried to block off times in my day where I'm deeply focused on a singular task. And I do that at work, where I'm fortunate for now. I have an office, so I'll close the door. Or in my new workspace, it's a very open concept workspace, I'll put headphones in. I will shut off my email. I think there's this misconception that we have to be plugged into email 24/7. And when you get the amount of emails that I get in a day, that alone, you could literally spend your entire day sitting there staring at emails as they come in and responding to them. And it's massively ineffective. So today is a Friday, but I guess it was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday, I was just feeling a little chaotic. I was feeling like I had too many things on the go and I wasn't able to focus on any of them. So I went into the office, I closed the door, I cranked some very chill classical music that I find actually helps me settle in. I committed to only checking my email in certain intervals throughout the day, very deliberately. And I got stuck into an entire day of very, very deep work. And aside from the fact that it's hugely productive, obviously, the quality of my work goes up and the quantity of my work goes up, I also find that it reminds my mind that I need to be in one place at one time. and it's a bit of a reset. Think of it like a fast or a detox to distractions. And it's really helpful for me. And I do that at home as well when I'm working on my home computer. It's even more difficult because there's kids and there's my dog and there's 12,000 things that I should be doing, and I have a little bit more free reign. I could be working on my men's group stuff, I could be working on my coaching stuff, I could be connecting with my coaching clients, I could be doing all of these things all at once. And the structure is what I crave. I'm sort of benefited at work by not having that problem, because again, I think that a singular focus is respectful to my employer, but that doesn't stop my brain from wandering. So while I have been the advocate of don't be afraid every now and then to take a step back and survey the landscape and breathe, if you find yourself in this position, whether it's good or bad, good tasks or frustrating tasks, I would really encourage you to discover the value of deep work, deep focus, and to practice setting boundaries. Part of my role has been referral. People come to me and they need I'd like to think they're seeking my counsel and my advice, but quite frankly, to be blunt, they need my authority to do certain things. And I try to, while respecting the fact that they have a job to do and I need to not be a bottleneck, and I take a lot of pride in that, I do box off time in my day where I just don't deal with those things. Unless it's a real, genuine emergency, capital E, which there are very few of those, I block my time off. This is time where I'm working. This is not time where I'm handling referrals or taking phone calls. This is not time where I'm checking my emails. But then inversely, this is time that I'm going to catch up on all the newsletters that I've subscribed to and make sure that there's nothing happening in my world that I need to. It's about deliberate balkanization of my time. It's about setting boundaries and respecting those boundaries and ensuring that other people respect those boundaries. And those systems allow me to slide into some deep work. And, I've 90%, totally arbitrary, but I would say probably 90% of the best work that I've ever done, the work that other people have come to me and said, this shit's really good, has happened while I am in a position of very intense, deliberate, deep work. I even get to the point where I will put earbuds in and I will use, I have an app called Binaural Beats, and it's like sine waves. And I don't know if they're real or not, but you know what? They work. And in the app that I use, there's a setting on deep concentration, or sometimes it's creative work. And I listen to these vibrate. It's like a humming sound that I guess stimulates your brain to do certain tasks. As I said, whether it's legit or placebo, I like it. And it allows me to really kind of get in a flow state, which is a thing that I think is very, very real. And it allows us to accomplish some phenomenal work. So almost all of my best work happens when I'm in these very deliberate times. So why do we not do them? So I try, and I'm going to continue to try to do, especially in my new role, which is going to have me pulled in a variety of different directions, more so than I'm used to, going to really get back to this concept of deep focus, intense, singular work. Be weary of multitasking. There's a lot of people, I think, that have this false sense of confidence and almost bravado about their capacity to multitask. And look, we all know parents have to multitask in terms of making dinner and cleaning the kitchen and making sure that the kids don't set themselves on fire and make sure that the dog isn't eating something out of the trash. And that's fine. That's just out of necessity playing the game. But when it comes to things like work or time with your spouse, time with your kids, focus. Eliminate the distractions. And it will allow you to enjoy those distractions when you allocate time to check social media, to watch a show on Netflix, or to sit down with a mindless novel and just enjoy it. But when you're scattered, you don't do anything effectively. And I also find you don't enjoy any of it to the fullest. So that's my, I guess, tip or narrative for today is rediscover this concept of deep, focused work. Establish boundaries. Create your environment to support you in this endeavor. And also ditch the ego. And I mean ego and this concept of an overinflated sense of self-worth. A lot of us feel like, I have to respond to that email right away. I have to say yes to every single meeting invite. It's amazing how you can condition people to wait for a response, to wait for the window that you've allocated to come and talk to you about a certain thing, to say, I appreciate you. I don't know that I need to be at that meeting, but maybe someone can take notes, and then you later reciprocate for someone else and take notes for them. It may be a difficult and uncomfortable task at first, but you will discover that, first of all, people are very receptive to that. 2, they're a little envious that you've got the courage to do what they wish that they could do. And 3, you will find it yields massive dividends when you do that. So that's all for today. We're coming up on 11 minutes. I'm probably rambling now, but rediscover deep work. It's a fantastic reset if you're feeling overwhelmed, or if you're a little bit behind, if you're overwhelmed with work or tasks and things are stacking up. Discover deep work. I think there's a book, I think it's Cal Newport, who has a book called, I think, Deep Work. And he talks about this very situation, this very concept. And I haven't read it. I've heard a lot of people talk about it, to be fair. So this is sort of third-hand information. But I gather it also comes with a lot of tips and tactics on how to engineer your environment and how to really do this concept of deep work effectively. So it's been working for me so far, so I don't feel the need to read it, again, because it's just adding something else. But if you are someone who this idea is interesting to you, but you're not entirely sure how to integrate these ideas, I can almost guarantee you, as I'm talking, you are thinking, here's the 3 reasons why this won't work for me. Bullshit. We all have our own jobs. We all have our own needs. We all have our own unique elements. It can be done. Look, if you're a fireman or a paramedic or police, you can't say I'm not taking calls because I'm doing some deep work on paperwork. We get that. But anyway, dive into it. I hope you have a fantastic day. And I hope, if you are feeling a little overwhelmed, which I hope you're not, but if you are, tuck into some deep work and let me know if this is something that you do in your own practice, or if you give it a go, how it worked out. I'd love to get some more conversations going. Take care. Have a fantastic day. As I roll into work, I'm going to go and have another day of deep focus, because as we know, Fridays can also be very distracting. A lot of people check out on Fridays. So enjoy your day, and I will talk to you tomorrow during my Saturday morning coffee run.